This is Kaushik Burman and I will be guiding through your physics curriculum for the preparation of any kind of entrance examination. Now, for one of the most important examinations to hoy NEET examination for the medical clearance. Now, NEET examination of karne ami jano je there are three important subjects: physics, chemistry and biology. So biology 360 marks carry kore and chemistry and physics duta combinedly 360 marks carry kore. So 50% of the complete priority of the exam goes for biology. So most of the students jone etu exam karone prepare kore hebur students or karone maths to a priority subject hisabe na thake because they know je crack koribole amak okol biology, chemistry or physics lage. Now, since maths priority hisabe na thake, so both students are eniko eta tendency ahi jay je tahator numerical perspective to weak thake. So because of that particular point, numerical perspective jodi weak thake kisuman students or hihotor karone physics to deal koribole tan hoi jay alop. And it's very important যে আমি গোটেই তিনটা সাবজেক্টক equally prioritize কৰো তেতিয়াহে NEET crack কৰিবলৈ easy হয়. Now, I'm not talking about how to crack about biology and chemistry, but physics or if we go by some understanding strategy, it becomes quite simple and বহুত easy হৈ যায় আমাৰ কাৰণে এই exam to crack কৰিবলৈ. Now, let me give you some tips about how to prepare for this examination for physics perspective. এতিয়া physics বুলি কলে আমি জানো যে ফিজিক্সত আপোনালোকৰ 11 and class 12 or subjects and topics বোৰ multiply there are around 26 to 30 topics. Now 26 to 30 topics of আপোনালোকে individually পঢ়িব নোৱাৰে because it would take a lot of time and importantly আমি হিমানখিনি time biology and chemistry কৰিব লাগিব. So what to go for this 26 chapters? So I'm giving a particular strategy how to crack about these 26 chapters. First of all, বহুত স্টুডেন্টছৰ এইটো এটা ধাৰণা থাকে যে ইহতে যদি NEET বা যিকোনো এন্ট্ৰেন্স এক্সামিনেশনৰ কাৰণে প্ৰিপাৰেচন কৰে তো তাৰে কাৰণে NCERT বুকস পঢ়াটো দৰকাৰ নহয় বুলি ভাবে বাট ইটস কমপ্লিটলি আ ৰং কনসেপ্ট ইটস ভেৰি ইম্পৰ্টেন্ট এন্ড আপোনালোকে যদি টপাৰ্স বোৰৰ তাহাতৰ যদি কথা শুনে তাহাতে ক্ৰেক কৰাৰ পিছত তাহাতৰ টিপস বোৰ শুনে আপোনালোকে ইনফেক্ট 10 out of 8 In fact, 8 students say kobo je hihotor karone NCERT books পঢ়াটো এটা বহুত important কাম আছিল. So it's very important যে আপোনালোকে NCERT books বোৰ পঢ়ে. Next thing, now talking about all the chapters that comes in physics curriculum, I'll let you know the priority chapters বোৰ কোনবোৰ হয় কোনবোৰক বেছি টাইম দিব লাগে কোনবোৰক কোনটো মেথডেৰে পঢ়িব লাগে. Now, if you're very sure, physics or there are three types of topics that can come around in terms of questionnaires. Now, those topics would be number 1, memory based questions. Number 2, concept based questions. And number 3, mathematical analytical questions. Okay, so these are the important types of categories of questions that you need to deal with. First of all, যোনবোৰ students NEET কাৰণে preparation কৰি আছে হিহতৰ কাৰণে memory based questions and concept based questions are basic priority দিব লাগে. In fact, কিছুমানে এতিয়া যদি entrance examination যোনবোৰ engineering ৰ কাৰণে হয় হিহতৰ কাৰণে mathematical analytical questions and concept based questions are basic priority দিব লাগে. So for the time being we'll be talking about NEET কাৰণে এই তিনটা section of কেনেকৈ categorize কৰিব লাগে. Now, if you happen to go through the chapters, আপোনালোকে এটা বস্তু সেট কৰিব পাৰে যে priority chapters বোৰ আপোনালোকে separate কৰি পেলাই পঢ়িব পাৰে and তাৰ পিছত second tier third tier priority বোৰ আমি পিছত ৰাখি পেলাই পঢ়িব পাৰো. So if we talk about the priority chapters, which are the priority chapters that I'm talking about? So going by the recent history যোনবোৰ এতিয়া NEET কাৰিকুলামত হৈ আছে তাৰ পৰা যদি আপোনালোকে recent history টো চাব যায় তো recent history মতে the priority chapters goes for electromagnetism part. So this is one of the priority chapters that you need to deal with. এতিয়া electromagnetism বুলি ক'লে আমি এটা chapter বুজি পাব নোৱাৰো. Electromagnetism আহে around 6 chapters. So first chapter টো হৈ গল আপোনালোকৰ electrostatics. So if you go by 12 curriculum, electrostatics or দুটা chapters আছে. So we'll talk electrostatics as electrostatics 1 as well as electrostatics 2. তাৰ পিছত আপোনালোকৰ তাত আহে chapter like magnetism. So magnetism and matter, these are two chapters. So this forms the second level of the first priority. Tar pisot we need to talk about electromagnetic induction as well as alternating current. And the final chapter comes out to be electromagnetic waves. So this 5 sections, in fact 5 sections of it also I suppose of electrostatics and magnetism there are around 2 sections each. So this as a whole 5 sections consist about 45% of the priority questions. So আপোনালোকে যদি চাব যায়, there are 45 questions that comes from physics, 45 from chemistry, and 90 from biology. So out of 45 questions, if you go by 45% priority, then you are clicking about 17 to 20 questions. So clicking 70 to 20 questions for an NEET aspirant in physics subject is quite an awesome result. Now, taking this as the first priority chapter, now we can talk about what are the second priority chapters. So second priority chapters, then we have the topic called mechanics in the second priority chapters. Now, what are the topics that are included in the topic called mechanics? So mechanics or 11 or initial chapters, class 11 or initial chapters. So we'll talk about chapters like motion. So motion again consists of two different parts, motion in one dimension and motion in two dimension. So we'll talk it as motion as 1, motion as 2. So 1 represents the 1D motions, 2 represents the 2D motions. Again, coming to the next level, we'll talk about force and laws of motion. It's the same chapter, basically. The next chapter that comes is work, power, and energy. And finally, we can also talk about rotational motion. Now, for any NEET aspirant, if you're going by the recent updates, আপোনালোকে জানিব পাৰে যে rotational motion or priority এতিয়া বহুত decrease কৰি দিয়া হৈছে. So rotational motion will exclude কৰিও if we talk about this section, then motion, force and laws of motion, work, power, energy, these three chapters combined will carry around 7 to 8 questions. So if you happen to take the addition of 20 and 7 to 8 questions, you're cracking about 28 questions now. So 28 questions out of 45 questions is a very good result in order to crack for NEET examinations, because if we take biology as a priority subjects, obviously our priority hobo lage je ami biology around 300 marks score koribo paro. So if you're happening to do that, if you're able to score 300 marks in biology, then physics and chemistry jonto load hoy, jonto burden hoy, ito olop komi jay. So in that sense, you need to target around 100 to 150 marks for each subject. So if you're targeting 100 marks, even 100 to 120 marks in physics, so attempting around 20 to 28 questions will put you in a safe zone. Now, out of these chapters, if you're very good in these two priority sections, then you can go for the next priority section. The next priority section is modern physics. So modern physics or ako 3 chapter include hoy. Tate ahe apnalokor dual nature of light, then there's a chapter called atoms, and the third chapter is the nuclear. So these three chapters forms modern physics. So if you're able to go for the third priority, then you can attempt for questions from these three chapters. So in fact, these three chapters will give you a combined questions of around 3 to 5 questions. So talking about priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3, you are in a very safe zone to compete and to get around 30 to 35 questions attemptable. And he attemptable questions from মাজত যদি আপোনালোকে 90% or in fact 85% accuracy maintain কৰিব পাৰে, then you are leaving with 25 to 28 correct questions, which is a very fair result in order to crack for NEET. Now, এই যোনকেইটা priority chapters আমি ডিসকাস কৰিছো, সেই priority chapters এতিয়া আপোনালোকে এই তিনটা ক্যাটাগৰি ডিভাইড কৰি পেলাই পঢ়িব লাগিব. Now, if we talk about chapters like electrostatics and as well as alternating current, এই দুটা chapter আপোনালোকৰ mathematical analytical part of পৰা আহে. So when you're preparing for chapters like electrostatics and as well as alternating current, you need to concentrate more on the mathematical section. Now, if you're talking about chapters like magnetism, or if you're talking about chapters like even electromagnetic waves, these two chapters are mostly concept based chapters. এনেকুৱা নহয় যে তাৰ পৰা mathematical questions নাহে, but in fact mathematical questions বোৰ crack কৰিবলৈ তাতে আপোনালোকৰ concept based questions or basic priority থাকে. So if you're preparing for chapters like this too, you should better go for concept based learning. And the remaining chapter, that is electromagnetic induction is generally a memory based chapter. So তাতে আপোনালোকে theories পঢ়িব লাগে, কিছুমান functions পঢ়িব লাগে, and you need to work upon those theories to have a good understanding about the whole chapter called electromagnetic induction. Talking about the other priority, a good priority to mostly mathematical analytical questions or questions basic attempt koribo loga hoy. So if you're talking about chapters like motion, even if you're talking about chapters like work, power, energy, you should mostly concentrate on the mathematical analytical questions. force and laws of motion is a vast chapter. So force and laws of motion or preparation kore, you not only need to look for mathematical analytical problems, you also need to have a clear understanding about the concepts of the chapter. So A2 chapter deal koribole apnaloke ei duta priority ke deal kori pele koribo lagibo. And talking about the last tier mostly talks about concept based questions and memory based questions. Since 3 to 5 questions apnaloke A2 section opor attend koribo pare ba expect koribo pare, so I would suggest that 3 to 5 questions or karone apnaloke mostly mathematical analytical part or basic concentrate kore, karon chapters bur horu hoy and tate mathematical results opor basic priority diya jay. So you have to be very smart, you have to be very understanding when to attend what kind of questions. So it's not only about the hard work, kosto sobe kore, but it's not only about the hard work, you need to be very smart kuntu chapter keneke deal koribo lage. And finally, with all these tips in your mind, it's a very important thing that I used to do, so I would suggest you to do for it. Whenever you are studying any chapter, jikono eta chapter jodi pori ase, jikono eta topic complete korar pisot, I would suggest you apnaloke logalog hey topic to upor 5 ta questions, around 5 to 6 questions attend kore. Hey 5 ta questions or bidor duta memory based rakhok, duta concept based rakhok, duta mathematical analytical concept based questions rakhok, and hey to strategy mote apnaloke gutei kita topic opor 5 questions so attend koribo pare. It places you in a very good position to attempt and go for NEET examination. So these are some of the tips from my point of view. I hope this will help you out well in your preparation. Thank you.